And we're here on a
Doggos
Friday.
and tacos.
Doggos and tacos all day, baby. It is Friday. I'm excited for today. We're back at it with the Funday Friday. Dan, how you feeling, my man?
I'm doing good, brother. We got the background going.
You got this, man. What a week it's been, my friend. What's going on, man? Talk to me. Talk to me, Dano. What's
brother,
one thing that's great in your life today? One thing, my man.
The launch of the new system. Hands down, super duper, extra calicious, super duper, whatever you want to call it, buddy. It's I feel like I'm 900 miles away from my camera.
Not good, my man. We can see you, man. We can see the shirt. We see everything that's going on, and it is Friday, my man. So what is this? This is Funday Friday, and I got a cool theme for today. But before we get into it, my man, let's bring in the bodacious cowboy himself, Jeff Dickinson, who's been with us from the get-go and always here supporting us. And he's ready for today, man. He's rocking the yellow t-shirt today, or
I have no idea. Why is Dan so far from the camera, and today I'm so close yet I'm so far? I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like you guys talked about this before. I don't know. Are you guys camera shy this morning?
I don't know. I feel like my camera pulled out for some reason.
Yeah, and mine pulled in. I mean, what the hell?
Just trying to get a better pick of the old stash.
Yeah, man, that stash is looking nice, man. It looks like you got that haircut though. You got a haircut though. Yeah, there we go. You got that stash.
Hey, on Monday, the 31st, I'm going to designate that day Yellow Freight Monday. And everybody wears orange in support for all those great folks there that have been let go, looking to get relocated, get a job. I mean, I noticed it's Funday, but I listened to this TikTok this morning of a driver who said he's going down with the ship. He's going to help them out as much as they possibly can until the chains go up on the gate. That really affected me, man. When you're in that business and how long these companies have been in business for, Yellow, 100+ years. It's a shame, man. It's just such a shame that it has to come down to this. Really,
it's corporate greed, right? It's like they got bailout money. Trump bailed them out with like $600 million back in the PPE during the pandemic, and what did they do with all that? Right. So
that is a question, Ryan. That is a damn good question. I mean, and this is Funday Friday, but just a quick thing. 2008, 1.36 billion in debt. They sell off 41.7% of their assets. Today, they're at 1.2 something. What the hell happened after selling off 41.7%? Sounds like mismanagement to me. I don't know.
Well,
I know they bought Roadway for $1 billion.
It's the usual. And you know what was really upsetting and was I saw a video. Ryan sent me a video of, and this was before a couple of days actually, Ryan. I think you sent it before you actually started seeing it on LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff. And it was a driver saying, after 30+ years, no pension.
Yes,
nothing.
I saw that.
We're walking out of here with nothing. And to me, I think about some of the things that were said to me growing up. Get in with a good guy, get an education, get in with a good company, get a pension. And in 2009, we realized that wasn't the case. the economy itself had changed. Everything changed. And no
Everything
longer
changed.
was that, getting in with a good company, getting a friggin' watch after 35 years.
Like our parents,
Yeah,
Yeah, like our
exactly.
parents. Exactly
Yeah.
like our parents.
But you know what? To drive for 30 years, you look at this gentleman, he had to have been in his mid to late 50s. And
Gut
you know,
wrenching.
he doesn't have another 30 years behind the wheel. He just doesn't.
No, it's
And so what is this guy going to do? And it kind of reminds me of, and again, let's get to Funday Friday, but it kind of reminds me of a Ponzi scheme.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
These people, they're expecting something, they're told they're getting something, and all of a sudden, one day, their entire life savings is pulled out from underneath them because he was obviously, you could tell he was relying on his pension to retire.
Mhm.
And you look at all these people in Ponzi schemes and invest their money for retirement, and you look at the Madoffs of the world, and he says, well,
Yeah.
they're all greedy. But if you go and look at a lot of his clients, they weren't greedy clients. They just thought that this guy was helping people succeed. And they're like, I'm going to give you my entire life savings, and in 20 years, I'm going to want it back. And they took it out of RSPs, 401ks, and all this kind of stuff and gave it to this guy, and he just bought yachts. You know what I mean? So anyways, but
yeah, it's like that crypto
Let's
guy. I
get
don't know.
back
There's
to
one
Funday
that's
Friday.
yeah,
Come
let's
on,
get to Funday Friday. But just one last thing, like Dan, this one hits home. I don't know if you heard about this, but there was the crypto king, some Canadian kid out of Whitby, so literally 10 minutes away from me. He scammed everybody about like $4 million, and here's what happened. A couple people found out where he lived, and they kidnapped him and they beat the crap out of him. Man, that's
He's still alive?
Yeah, he's still you can't go for a murder charge, right? But let's get to the Funday Friday. To everybody,
get to this.
Yeah, let's get to it because like what, with everybody, I hate to be vain about this, but hey, man, job loss happens everywhere. It is what it is. You got to bounce back, man. Like thoughts and prayers are not going to do anything for drivers. You got to go pound the pavement, man. So, anyways, let's get to Funday Friday. The reason why
easy on the questions, Ryan. Easy on the questions.
There we go. I love that, Dano. I wanted to go into first and last, and I think that was something that I actually was thinking about quite a bit, and I was like, let's get into this. Let's figure out a way to have some great questions and stuff like that. So I'm going to post a question here, and like we said, we're going to start with them easy, and then we'll get a little bit hard, and we'll start with the cowboy on this one.
Oh,
Mr. Cowboy,
Mr. Monk.
What was the first concert you attended, and what memories do you have from that experience?
Ooh. It was the Outlaws, and I don't remember a damn thing. I'm being honest, man. It was a really good time. That's all I'll say.
The Outlaws. Are they still around? The Outlaws?
Yeah, but it's just like, most of them died off, unfortunately. Great band. Only one guy is left, actually two. And they still use the name, but it's not like the original.
It never usually is.
Never is. It becomes like a cover band at that point, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
The Outlaws. What do you remember? What year that was?
Yes, 1977.
1977. And follow-up question to that, my friend. Do you still have the one thing I feel like we miss with events these days? No, not the t-shirt. The ticket. The ticket.
Oh, the ticket.
Yeah, the ticket. Because like I feel like that's what we lose. Like everything is digital now, man. It sucks. I miss having this.
I have a friend, and this is not a BS statement. He's probably seen over. Yeah, actually, he was my old boss and my best man, my wedding. He is an audiophile, and he has over 20,000 LPI records. No joke. And he's probably seen over 25, maybe 3,000 concerts, and he kept every single ticket to every one that he went in chronological order, man. I mean,
it just starts with one. What's funny story about that? I tried to do that with my wife when we first started dating. So I collected like the receipts and like the things that we did to like do a scrapbook. And I think by like month 4, I was like, screw this. And I was like, I think I forgot once. And then I was like, forget this. I'm not going to do this again. Yeah, no, let's get to you, my friend.
Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill.
When and where,
Sunday concert. I don't remember what year, but I remember it was downtown Montreal. And I remember I was pretty high. And I just remember at one point in the night, I think when Insane and the Brain came on, you could barely see the stage. There was so much smoke in this place, and there was no smoking allowed inside, but it was just like, and it was crazy. And I remember it was a little event. Like, it wasn't like a big, like ACC or like sports arena.
Right.
It was a smaller event, and there was 6 pillars at the back.
And you were leaning up against one of them.
I was leaning up, brother. I was, because in those days, like, I thought my crew were gangsters, but holy crap, man! And they were pretty bad folk. But some of the people that were there, it was like, yeah, just the look in their eye. It's like, yeah, nah, you don't,
No.
nah, you don't, whatever you want, you got, man. But it was really cool because it was such a mixed concert. And it was funny because going into it, my boys and I were like, okay, we're gonna hope for the best but plan for the worst, if
always
you can read between the lines. And there were white people from rich neighborhoods, there was people from really poor neighborhoods, there was all sorts of people, and everybody was just jamming to the music.
Yeah.
And it was
good vibes.
Like, good vibe. Hits from the bong. I want to get high. How I could just kill a man. Latin lingo. Like, all of the classic hits, Cock the Hammer. Like, and it's just, to me, that was my first concert ever. I think I was 13 or 14. And it was just like, it was the shit, man. It was really
the shit.
I love that. I love that so much. And you know what, Dan and Jeff, I think that you both definitely enjoyed it more because back then there was no cell phones around, so nobody's like recording. First and foremost, this is a PSA. PSA, man. If you're at a frigging concert or you're at a sporting game, nobody cares that you're on your phone. You do not need to record the whole thing because A, you're not going to replay it and watch it again ever in your phone again, and then B, nobody cares to watch it on your social media. Enjoy the time, my man. Like that's just my little rant.
Ryan. Now these venues out there have restrictions. You can't videotape. You can't bring in your phones or anything.
Brother, you know what's funny? So there was we went to a Kevin Hart stand up, and I'll use this for my answer.
Oh, that must have been great.
So my wife and I, we went, and it was for a Netflix special. So they made it abundantly clear that do not have your cell phones. Even if you pull out your cell phone, you are going to get kicked out because this is a special that they were in mid-tour in Toronto. When I tell you that I saw at least 50 people get kicked out for being like thinking that they were better than everybody, pulling out their phones to record it, and legit they had those ushers literally with with flashlights and it was a one strike policy. It wasn't like, okay, don't do it again or something like that. Even my wife tried to I was like, no, don't you do that. I told her, if you get kicked out, I'm staying. I am not coming with you. I am staying. I'll use this as a leg rest. So we didn't, but it's just, I don't know.
Expensive tickets too.
They were pricey. But
when we went to Jim Jeffries, they actually took your cell phones from you and locked them in a pouch. And
I was gonna say, I know Chris Rock does that, right?
Put it in the pouch. Coats. Wow.
Yeah. Hey, you and you know what's the integrity, right? It's that of the artists of what they've put together, especially if they're doing a special, right? And nobody wants to have. I don't know. For me, let's say I live in Toronto and then Dan lives in Montreal, and you know how the tour stop goes, right? They go to Montreal first or Toronto first, and then they go to the other place. So imagine you're in Toronto, you saw it, and then somebody's like posting the whole thing on social media, and that emotion or that time gets spoiled for you because you know what to expect at the show that you're gonna go to, right? So
good point.
So there we go.
The Kevin Hart one that we went to in Hamilton was his Irresistible tour or his last tour, or Irresponsible tour.
Yes, that's the one. That's the same one.
That's the one. Yeah. And the size of those security guards, I wouldn't want to pull out my phone even if it was in my pocket. Like, those boys were big, man. They were big dudes. Like, there was not one under 240 pounds, 6'3". Like, they were big dudes, man.
They got a
nice size guy.
Yeah, and it was all over the place. Like, there was posters everywhere. It was on the back of every seat almost. It was like, and the thing is, they didn't take your phones. He just said, put it away.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Kevin Hart said, pull your phones out, every one of you, and turn on the flashlight. And he did his Instagram or whatever from the stage, and he we sold this bitch out and whatever.
That's the one where he comes out in the box at the beginning, right? He comes out, same ones from there. Yep. But let's come back. So let's hop on to the next one. We'll start off with Daniel on this one, my friend. I like this one a lot.
Well, hold on. What was your concert?
Oh, I'm gonna say. Well, I think my first one was Coldplay, and Coldplay was awesome. Coldplay is one of the best experiences I've ever seen. So go with that one. So Dan O, let's go with this one. What was the last skill or hobby you learned, and how has it enriched your life?
Welding.
Welding.
It was the last one I learned. It has enriched my life. It's, geez, that's a good question. How's it enriched my life? It's given me a new skill that's outside of what I would normally have. The ability to, it's enriched me so far because I've actually been able to help neighbors put things back together that were broken that they didn't want to get rid of. Help me put shovels back together in the middle of using them, like digging up rock, and then the shovel snaps, and I'm like, well, I don't want to go anywhere. So put a couple of tack welds on it, and all of a sudden the shovel's better than when it at first got it. It's yeah, that's probably, but it's just it's cool. It was cool. Like a buddy of mine, his pull bar for his gym, inside home gym, snapped. He brought it over, we welded it up, he went back, and he was able to use his gym. So just that kind of stuff, like helping people out to get, and helping myself. I built a fence on the side of the house, notched pipe out, welded it all together, and put this whole fence in where you literally just click and it goes right in, where normally it would have taken like digging holes in the ground and everything. So it's enriched me. I've helped build my snowmobile. Just like, oh wow, like I've done a lot with welding.
So you crash it a lot.
Well, I mean, that's why I better learn how to build it, right? Hey, hit that again, because yeah, man, if I don't go over to handlebars 17, 18 times in a weekend, man, it's not riding.
I love that. I love that. It's not riding, but you got to check that out.
When my son and I went away for a week, we rode 4 days out of the 5, because 2 were kind of like travel days, out of the 6, and I think I went over the handlebars 21 times.
That's got to be Stacy.
In the week. And you know what? That's riding, man. You know, when you go over the handlebars, you're taking it to the limit.
Well, if you're not going to the hospital, it's not worth the ride, right?
There we go. You got to get that bicycle license, man. There we go. I like that. I like that.
They're more dangerous, buddy.
Yeah, there we go. Cowboy, what do you got, my man?
Oh, this is funny, but it's really true. Because I would say the skill would be being a salesperson. And how has it enriched my life? Show me the money. I mean, it's something that I never thought I would ever get in, and man, I'm glad I did. I'm learning every single day. It's a skill that needs to be looked at every single day because it changes all the freaking time. It's never the same pitch, never the same approach, and I'm learning that. And, the skill is getting better and better every day. Definitely all the way.
There we go. I like that. Go big or go home. Gents, let me see. My last one. I want to say golf, but I picked up golf a couple of years ago. So I'm going to go with my latest one this year, which would have been Toastmasters. Ooh. Evident, one of the best things I've ever done in my life. It's enriched my life. I've had conversations with people from around the world. Sorry, not around the world, around different environments, not just logistics, since I work from home, and it's enriched my life. I got like this cool social club, social community that I'm a part of. Bless you, Dan. Oh, there we go. So, that's me. The Toastmaster is one of the best things I've ever done, and it's my hobby that I look forward to every single Wednesday.
Yeah, talking about putting yourself out there, that's exactly what it does.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's a nurturing group too, right? Because that first speech or just getting there and you think like you're doing as worse as you think you are, but then you got people praising you and people there to help you, right? So it's one of the coolest things I've ever done. There we go. There we go. And next one, my man, let's get to it. We'll start with Cowboy on this one. Oh no, we'll start with Dan on this one. Let's see here. Describe the last time you faced a fear or overcame a challenge, and how did it impact your self-confidence?
It's a no-brainer. My cancer diagnosis, no brainer. I would even say above and beyond that. I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to go somewhere else. Starting Bridger. No, you know what? Trust me. I mean, that change that impacted my life, but not my self-confidence. it impacted just my perspective on life, my perspective on love, my perspective on all that kind of stuff. But you're asking about self-confidence. So I'm going to say launching Bridger, creating and launching Bridger. You know, we're going into a market that we're up against behemoths in the CRM world, and enhancing my self-confidence because everyone we've shown it to has praised what it can do. So I know we've carved out a blue ocean inside the red ocean that is the CRM world. We've carved out a blue ocean. You know, there's big megalodons in the red ocean, the Salesforce, the HubSpot, and we have a product and service that I believe crushes them in so many ways, and they crush us in other ways. But we're not focused on those ways because we're logistics specific. So for me, self-confidence that, you know, you have a vision, you have a dream. If you surround yourself with the right people and consistently pursue it, regardless of the negative thoughts that come up, you can achieve it. And that is what's teaching me more and more and more. And the thing is, I knew it, but it's like actually giving me live confirmation on what we knew all the time.
Yeah, we're just mapping it out. I like that. I like that. Let's hear what you got, Cowboy.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this, but the first of all, I'm overconfident in my abilities, so that's not a fear. My biggest fear that Dan helped me with was being on a podcast. You know, it wasn't something that was in my repertoire. I mean, it wasn't something that I wanted to do, but learned to do, not just to help a friend, but to try something different. And look at me now. I mean, if I could freaking do it, anybody can do it. Let's put it that way, you know. But yeah, I would say it wasn't a fear. It was like it was more of an obstacle than anything. It was just like, how do you do it? What do you talk about? How do you create content? How do you do all this stuff? You know, but once you do it, and it's like anything else, and Dan says it all the time, it's repetition, man. You do it every day. You be consistent, you know, whether it's your sales approach or whatever, every single day. And once you do that, you get over those obstacles and you break through those barriers. And before you know it, it's like waking up and knowing the back of your hand how to brush your teeth, man. Really.
Love that. Okay, perfect. I love that. For me, let's see. Last time I faced a fear and overcame a challenge, I'm going to say Bridger as well. I think for me, this has been something, and this is not a Bridger ad or anything like that, but
yes, it is. Yes, it
going through the process of understanding that, you know, a new business, that you count on other people. And for me, if you're a freight agent out there or you have your own business, you know that it's only really you. Like, it's you versus you at the end of the day. But when you're kind of getting into like an amazing thing with great people and putting the faith and understanding that, hey, I'm not that person who needs to do everything and wear all the caps. There's people who wear better caps than I do. Right. So being able to kind of delegate, not necessarily, I hate that word delegate, but be able to share in everyone's successes and follow the thing. So we'll have more on that in the next couple of weeks, which we're excited to all talk about. But we'll go with that. We'll go to our next. We'll do 2 more questions and we'll call it a day because I want to go golfing, gents. It's a nice, beautiful day here in Ontario. So with that being said, gents, can you guys think of a memorable first in your career or education that significantly influenced your professional journey? And I'll take this one first because this was really cool for me. So everybody knows about my background. I'm not going to have to go into it, but I fell into logistics really by mistake. And I got into it. And then when I went from ops to sales, for me, the big first was getting that big commission check the first time, and realizing, and it wasn't a lot compared to like obviously now, right? But it wasn't a lot, but it was just like, holy crap, you know, like that was the first time in my life, gents, where my paychecks weren't the same. So I've always been salaried. I've always had the same paycheck every 2 weeks. Maybe get like $1, $2 raise every single year, whatever it is, performance reviews, all that nonsense.
So it's the first time you didn't trade your time for money.
There we go. And that was the first time. And, you know, like that was seeing that. And you know what? Shout out to my boss at the time. He was awesome. He made it. He knew it would have been a big deal to me. So he pulled me in the office. He's like, and he made a whole thing about it, you know, and that was it for me. And since then, it's been like, oh my God, this is the career that I want. I remember like going to our temple, donating half of it there, getting something from my mom and my sister, and just in knowing that next month, I work hard, this is gonna happen again. So it's significantly influenced because I'm still here. I'm still in logistics, enjoying life and loving life with all my dogs and everything like that. So let's go with you, Dano.
For me, it would definitely have to be my first Bob Proctor event. Prior to that, it was all about money and making as much money as I can. And when I went to my first Bob Proctor event, I realized that money was a direct result of the value and service you bring to the market. And that completely changed the way I looked at everything I did. And I'm talking everything. I mean, commissions with my spouse, commissions with my kids, commissions. Like, I think of everything in commission. And I don't mean to be, a Grant Cardone or anything, but it's true.
Yep.
Right? Like, the more you serve your wife, the better commissions you get. Even with your kids, with your life in general. You talk about the temple, Ryan, and all that. You get a commission from doing that. And commissions can be anything. It's just not monetary. It's love, it's appreciation, it's recognition, it's everything. Commissions are on every level. So for me, it was definitely the You Were Born Rich Bob Proctor event.
Okay, so I want to go into that. I don't want to just leave that because that's awesome. For anybody who's watching out there, how did you find Bob Proctor? Like, why? Okay, let me ask you, why did you go to this? Like, let's get this set up.
So at the time, I was working for Transcend Freight Systems, and I'd never heard of Bob Proctor. And the owner of Transcend, I was a VP of sales, and the owner of Transcend, Rob Carradine, said to me, would you trade a weekend for the most knowledge and possibly the roadmap to build an unbelievable company? Because we were just about to open our brokerage. And I said, absolutely. I'd trade 5 weekends for that. He said, okay, so I'm going to take you to this Bob Proctor event. He liked Bob Proctor. I was into Zig Ziglar, Ed Foreman, those guys. And he said, we're going to go to this event called You Were Born Rich. And I was like, okay. So we went in and I met, Bob Proctor, his whole team, Gina Hayden and all that. And it was just this. It was in Markham. It was at the hotel right at 407 and 7 and 404 in Markham.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, he said, yeah, we're going to trade. And you know what? It's funny. After that event, the next 2 weeks, we doubled the business in the company.
Let's go.
And the deal with him was, if it shows you a way to do more, be more, and achieve more, I'll pay for it. And I said, no, I'll pay for it. He goes, no, it's the deal. So he goes, I'll pay for it. If, you don't think it was worth it, then you can pay for it. So it was it was kind of like that reverse engineering, because typically it's like, if you don't think it's worth it, you pay for it. And if you think it's worth it, I'll pay for it. Right. So he reversed it on me. But just the strategies and techniques that he taught us about moving the sale along and creating different value and all that. We literally doubled our business with our present customers in literally 2 weeks. Because I came out of that thing on fire, brother. So like from that Monday for 2 weeks, I was at meetings every day, like 3-4 meetings a day. And we were just bang, more and more and more and more. And we were doubling and tripling our business. It was crazy. So it's amazing what those things can do if you go in with the right mindset.
Well, the thing you've taught me, Dan, and I love this because we talked about this when I started working with my personal trainer. By the way, I'm loving like this whole health journey I'm on, by the way. But you told me it's like when the student is ready to learn, the right teacher will come.
When the student's ready, the teacher will appear. Yep.
There we go. I love that, my man. So that's for everybody watching out there. Cowboy, let's get to you, my friend.
Yeah. This is pretty easy. I was a warehouse worker and pretty much outworked everybody because I hated my job. I didn't want to do it. So I figured if I worked really, really fast, the day would go by really, really quick. But my boss at the time noticed something. Long story short, wanted me to become the manager. He moved up, and the rest is history. I really owe it to Nick Ziss, if you're watching, buddy. We're still very, very good friends. And my daughter was born, and everything just started going. And I started taking on challenges that I normally wouldn't have taken. And just that whole journey up to that point to now, and every day is a learning event for sure. was great. I mean, it was something that definitely influenced me to manage people, very challenging operations logistically. And then that time came where it was like, I need to move into even a better challenge and start my own business and become a salesperson and own, my own agency, my own business, and do things for me instead of others. It was a great journey. And I don't think that I would have been able to do it if that one guy, Nick Ziss, didn't give me that opportunity that I didn't see in myself. Because like I said, I hated the job. I just wanted to get out of there. And so he just said, hey, you know what? You're out working everybody else. You got a lot of this. How about trying this? And thank God I said yes. A lot of people just want to do their job and go home and that's it. You probably heard that many, many times. And it was just, I don't know. And definitely the trigger went off when my daughter was born. It was just like, let's go, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Perfect. I love that. Everyone has like their amazing reasons for what they do, So we'll get to our last question today, gents, and we'll start off with Cowboy in reverse order. Cowboy, Dano, and myself, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up.
Okay. Cowboy up.
Yeah, Cowboy up. So Cowboy, share a special first or last, because like we said, this is first and last. So we didn't do too much last, but this will be one. Let's do this. Spare special last moment with a close friend or family member that you cherish deeply.
This will be an emotional one that I'll never ever forget. It would be my last moment with my mom before she died. Yep.
That shoot, Dano.
Just Saturday afternoon with my wife, sitting by the pool, and we were messing around with the kids on text. It was so much fun. We were laughing our arses off.
I love that. My last time with coming from that I cherish deeply. I gotta say it's with my wife too. Like in 2 weeks, we're hitting 4 years of being married, and I think our any last moment that we get to kind of keep dating and doing our thing and planning our goals. There's one specific. Last time we did our check-in conversation, and for anybody who's married, dating, anything, if you have a significant other, partner, or anything like that, make sure to do check-ins, because sometimes we think or we assume things, and it's not necessarily that way. Little small things that we do or we don't do. So my wife and I, we had a great check-in, and it was awesome. It was just to know, and it wasn't negative. It wasn't like all positive. It was just, hey, I like when you do this. I don't like when you do this, but here's what we're planning towards, and just those little things you can improve on each day, because we're not mind readers here, right? So I think it's really important everybody do a check. So I would say my last moment with my wife when we did our check-in conversation a couple weeks ago.
Sweet, that's good.
Okay, so gents, I want to switch it. I saved the best for last, right? So for anybody who's watching out there, if you're new, every Fridays actually used to be called Wins and Lessons. That was a thing where Dan, DJ, Jeff get on here and talk about wins and lessons. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna throw it a little old school today, a little throwback Fridays. So from each and every one of you, I would love to hear one win and one lesson for the week that you just had. And let's start with Dano, since I'm throwing you a curveball. You did not expect this, so let's get into it, my man.
So win would obviously be getting our first customer in Bridger, and definitely delivering on a bunch of demos. And I'm actually going to go further than that. The win is actually getting some seriously positive feedback on the system and what we've taken a year and almost 3 quarters to build. What I learned this week is that saying less is more.
I love that you ended it right there. Cowboy.
Getting a new client, that's going to take a lot of my time, and the lesson learned would be that Murphy's Law is still alive and working its nasty stuff. Boy, I'll tell you what. And it's how you respond to those issues that make the lessons worthwhile.
There we go. My win for the week is going to be doing my first demo and having it go really, really well, kind of doing it my way. And my lesson is that I've got a lot to learn, and I'm not scared about that. I'm actually embracing and running towards it uphill. But I've got a lot to learn in every aspect that we want to do, whether it be in SaaS, logistics, all that fun stuff. So it's a beautiful. This is a beautiful game, my man. This is beautiful.
Fun, eh? It's so much fun, man. It's so much fun.
And Jeff, it's the same with you, you know, like all the new things that you're doing as well. So it's awesome to kind of see these different challenges, and we're always evolving. You know, the things that we had last year, we're not talking about those things anymore, right? And it's just, you know, there's evolution in the game. You can stay stagnant. Just add back to Jeff's point when he said, you know, like people who want to do that clock in and clock out, and there's nothing wrong with that. The world needs workers. At the end of the day, we all can't have that, right?
The doers.
The doers. There we go. So with that being said, this is Funday Friday, gents. I gotta get the feedback. What did you guys think of today?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it. It was awesome, man.
It's always fun Day Fridays. You know, like what we discussed probably a year ago.
Even when I was heading it up, Jeff, you had fun.
Of course, of course. But the thing is that. That's a little late. That's a little delayed. That's a delay. That's a disruption of the show. Unacceptable. No, it's a great way for our audience to break up their hectic week, you know, and that's what we try to do here is bring that kind of fun and challenging questions that I freaking hate at the end of each week to make you think outside the box instead of always thinking about your job. You know, that's our job. That's our responsibility to bring you, our audience, every single week in and out.
Awesome. So we'll catch everybody next week. We want everybody to have an amazing weekend ahead. This is a beautiful day as we got the Jeopardy music going on. If you found value in this, which I know you did, please share, like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube page where our YouTube page, you know, it's banging right now. We got some more followers coming on, and you know, we're boosting up the content as we're kind of going on along with it. So want to thank everybody. Like we said, you guys are watching internationally, so it doesn't matter where you're watching. We really do appreciate and love and support the feedback that you all show us. If you want to know how to download our audio podcast, please go to Spotify, Amazon, go to Apple Podcasts, all the amazing audio podcasts.
iHeartRadio.
We're everywhere.
Come on, man.
We're everywhere. And just tune in next week because we've got some really bangers, as Dan said. If you did, and we're not going to announce it now because he did say it on yesterday's episode. So we want to make sure that everyone is watching. But tune in next week. We've got an action-packed, full of guests, full of laughs, full of conversations that move the needle. So with that being said, your host, Ryan Mohamed, Dan Deigan, the Bodacious Cowboy. We'll see you guys all next week.
Have a great weekend, folks. Adios.